What's up, guys? So I asked my Discord to give me some questions for my second Q&A video, and they had a lot more questions this time, actually. And I think we'll just get started. So, question number one is, can I see a picture of your dog? Sure, I'll put a picture up on the screen. Um, the second question is, do you love gambling? No, I don't love gambling, but I do love I won't say I won't go to a casino just to gamble. I love to take chances in games that aren't really like life-changing. In a casino, you can lose a lot of money. In War Robots, you kind of get what you want. The next question is, even though you started playing in 2023, what meta do you think you would have been the most fun for you? I would say, um, hmm, I really, really loved Pathfinder meta and the Raptor meta, but if he's talking about old metas, I would say probably Khepri. Khepri would be fun. Um, And I would have also really loved to see the Lancelot being the best robot in the game. I really think that would have been fun too. The next one is the Void better than the Evora? Currently, it does more burst damage, but the Evora does all gray damage. That's what makes it so much better in my opinion. Because instead of you using Void and letting another Titan charge its repair amp, you use the Evora and you can take it out with full gray instead of letting it charge a repair amp. Alright, next one. How much money does it take to acquire a new ultimate robot on average and also for ultimate comebacks? So on average, if you're tier 4, like I am, for the spending, it'll cost you $600 to $800 for a new ultimate and about 300 for a comeback, 300 USD. And if you're a tier 1, like you're free to play, it can cost you like two, yeah, 200 for a comeback and maybe 300, 400 for a new ultimate, unless you already have the D gems, which if you have the D gems in your tier 1, it'll cost you maybe 10,000 D gems. Because the way it works is if you buy D gems, your prices go up. So if you were to buy 200, yeah, your prices are gonna go up. And then the next question is Baglior versus Strix, which is more viable in which situation? I would say Baglior is more, it's more, so let's say, hey, you accidentally shoot a sword in its shield. Strix, you can't really get away from it. The Baglior, if you're playing it right, you'll have a teleport beacon somewhere else. So if you accidentally shoot the shield, you wait for them to dash on you and you teleport away. Baglior is a lot more maneuverable in that sense, but the Strix still has all of the shield breaker, quantum radar, um, it can't be suppressed, it can't be blinded, all of that. So it's more well-rounded, but the Baglior is more maneuverable. That's what I like about it. Alright, best looking special edition weapon, and which weapon would look cool as an ultimate? I think that if the ultimate, like, I doubt that they would do it, but if they made ultimate corrupted Scatty as like instead of it being the normal Scatty, being the corrupted version would be so cool. And the best looking special edition has to be either Prime Sword Unit or I'd say Steel Teth or Steel Strix. Both of those look really cool. Um, there's the Candy Viper. That one looks amazing. There's the Techno Atomizer. That one looks really cool. So yeah, there's a couple that I find really cool looking. And next question says, is power creep slowing down or speeding up? So a lot of people would say it's speeding up, but I personally think it's slowing down. And the reason I say that is because if you look back at Ocho meta, nothing could counter it. Literally nothing could counter the Ocho, unless it was another Ocho. Now, there's Sword Unit. Can get killed by anything on the ground. If you're smart enough, you can kill it while it's on you, while you're in its shield. There's the Teth. The only reason the Teth is overpowered is because of Unstable Conduit. If the Unstable Conduit didn't heal Gray, the Teth would just die very quick. Then there's the Strix. It's not the strongest. It can handle some firepower. It has some health, but it's not the strongest due to it not having defense. So it's all of this stuff that it's strong in one sense, but if you know how to counter it, it's easy to counter. The Ocho literally was uncounterable. So yeah, power creep is slowing down. Best 5 free-to-play robots for Champion League. Pathfinder, Baglior. This is debatable, but Mender, Demeter, Ravana. Those are the 5 best free-to-play robots in the game, in my opinion. Ravana's amazing. Everybody knows why Ravana's amazing. The Mender can heal Gray. The Baglior has insane firepower, even with free-to-play weapons. The Pathfinder is an amazing team robot, and the Demeter is also an amazing team robot. They are all very, very good for free-to-play, and they are all viable for Champion League. Next question says, how would you get an ultimate robot as a free-to-play and most efficient ways to get grindable leaderboards as free-to-play? So if you really want ultimates as a free-to-play, don't spend your resources. Like, when you spend, like, your keys, save. When you open datapads, save. Every single item you get, save it. Once you get enough, and once you get enough resources, what you can do is, like currently, there's a comeback where you have to upgrade robots. And the most efficient way to do that is by leveling up a bunch of tier 3 and tier 4 robots and weapons to level 4. MK1 level 4. And the reason that is it costs 700,000 gold. And if I do the math right, I think I did, if I'm remembering correctly, it cost about 300 gold per weapon. Maybe 200. And then you can sell the weapon afterward to get more silver back than you spent. So all you're doing is spending about 200, 300 gold on a weapon. And if you have enough gold for that, what you can do is do it, like, you can upgrade all of your robots to level 4 during an upgrade leaderboard. And you need 267 items to not play the game at all and get that ultimate pad. But normally what they do, like right now it's a TDM mode. What you would do is play TDM, like the rotating game modes, the first couple days that it's out, and then the last day you upgrade for the rest of the points. So you could probably cut it down to 200 items if you're free to play. So that's the fastest way to, like, the fastest and most efficient way to get ultimate robots and stuff as a free to play. And grindable leaderboards, it's kind of those things where you have to have a decent hangar. And so yeah, you would have to build up your hangar to grind leaderboards like that, unless you're like a really low like league. But yeah, the upgrade leaderboards are easily the easiest way to get ultimates as a free to play. All right. Next question says, how much money does it take to build the average full ultimate build? That depends on if it's maxed out or if it's like level 1 weapons, if it's like the level 1 robot, if it's like it just depends on if it's maxed out, but I'll give you both answers. It depends on if you do it free to play, like I explained in the last question, how you can get them free. But you can get a full ultimate build free to play. It'll take a long time, but you can do it. If you were to buy the ultimate build, like as in a comeback, it would cost you about 300 USD. And if you were to max it, 300 USD plus maxing it would cost you about another 200, 300. So 550 to 600 it would cost to have a full ultimate build maxed out. Keep in mind that's drone pilot, robot MK3 weapons, like MK2 at least. So yeah, that's the answer for that one. Which teleporting robot is your favorite? Mine has to be Baglior or Teth. Teth is just really fun. You can do a lot of cool things with the Teth teleport, same with the Baglior. They're just really maneuverable tanks. The Baglior, I would have to pick over the Teth though, due to its high firepower. And yet, that would be my favorite, would be the Baglior. What's the only meta you would have not chased and why? I would say, well, currently, I'm not chasing the Strix meta, so that would probably be my answer. I don't find that the Strix is super overpowered. Like, if you have a maxed out Baglior, the Baglior actually has more firepower than the Strix. The Atlas, I just got to make videos with and everything. It's a really fun Titan to use too. So this meta and next meta with the Kaji, I don't think I'm gonna chase due to them not really having like a big advantage over anything else. It's more me saving money for ultimates. That's why I would do it. If you had to pick one robot to become meta again, which one would you pick? That one is a tough one, but I would say Condor. I know it's very... I might get flamed for that one, but Condor actually wasn't super overpowered in the sense that it would still be killable, like, on the ground, and it can be killed in the air too, very easily. But yeah, Condor would be the least detrimental on the game if it became meta again. The gray damage is annoying, but it can easily be killed. What's your opinion on the most underrated robot or weapon? So I would say Baglior. It's a very swept on robot. I know a lot of like high champs know about it, but most free to play don't actually know how good the Baglior is. And with the glaciers on top of it, it is absolutely disgusting what you can do. Also, same thing with the Redeemer. You can one-shot Teth. Well, I guess you can one-shot Teth if like their force field is broken, but you can easily kill Teth. You can easily kill Sword Unit if they actually teleport, like if they dash on you. You can one-shot them in your shield. Stuff like that. Like, um, I actually did a test. A Baglior, not maxed, level 7 Glacier can kill a Ultimate Fenrir in about 7 seconds, while the Ultimate Fenrir is MK3. So yeah, they are very, very underrated. The Glacier, Cryo, and Rhyme, and the Baglior. What's my opinion on the Atlas? I think I covered it earlier. It's a really fun Titan to use. It's just absolutely insanely hard to counter due to its infinite absorber. The infinite absorber makes it really, really hard to counter, and it's just really overpowered right now. And that's my opinion. Some people are like, it's not overpowered. I can counter it with my Bersaglier. Yeah, but there's only two Titans in the game that can really counter it, and that's the Bersaglier and the Atlas itself, due to both having Shield Breaker. So it's just one of those things where if you run into almost anybody, you can just tank them forever pretty much. And then the next one, for someone who doesn't have an ultimate robot, how do I counter them? I've met a Yui Arthur in Diamond lobbies and want to know how to defeat them. So Ultimate Arthur is kind of dependent on what level the Arthur is. If it's a maxed out Yui Arthur with like speed skills and everything, you're not going to be able to counter it unless you have some high DPS like Ultimate Ao Ming Arbiter. But if you're playing beacons, my advice is run and grab beacons for the beacon bar. You're not going to be able to kill them. Loki's amazing to counter the Ultimate Arthur. The Ravager's amazing due to the Ravager having speed and the Loki. No, the Ravager having stealth and the Loki having speed. The Loki can run away. It doesn't have a lot of HP, so if it does get blast waved, it's gonna die. But you can easily outspeed the Arthur with the Loki. The Ravager, on the other hand, can just sit in stealth and tank it for a while. Um, and then let's say you're on Rome, you can go into the Colosseum and heal back up while the Arthur can't really get into the Colosseum. Um, but yeah, it's just one of those things where it's very hard to counter if you don't have the right stuff. But yeah, there's a couple ways you can counter. If it's TDM, you have to target literally everybody on the other team other than the Arthur. Otherwise, you're just gonna be wasting time on not getting kills on the other people. And then the last question is rough estimate on upgrades per competitive robot. So per competitive robot, so if you're talking about money to max out a competitive robot and weapons, it may be $100, it may be $200. It depends on how many weapons the robot has, and if you're talking about drones too. But if you want to fully max out 200 at least, and a full hanger, if you're doing straight money, you're gonna have to do well, if you add on your Titan, it's $1,000 plus if you're doing full money. But if you're playing free to play and you're talking about how many resources it'll take you about 500 million silver per robot. So um that's about 2.5 billion for five. And then each weapon to max out is about 400 million. So, like I said, you can do the math on that depending on how many weapons you have. And then the Titan will cost 10,000 platinum, and the pilot will cost, if you want it fully maxed out with all gold pilot skills, it'll cost you about 20,000 memoriam. And you never really have to use gold if you're just being like if you're free to playing and you're just using the timer that they have to upgrade stuff, like you're letting it go by the timer, you don't need gold. So if you really were gonna be full free to play like that, you could use your gold to buy more silver. So like that's if you have all five slots of your hangar like bought. Otherwise, if you don't have all five slots, you need to buy all five slots. It is very helpful. Yeah, like I said, if you're full free to play, just use your gold to buy silver to make it go by a lot faster. And the next part of the question, how do you focus or spread upgrades? The only rule I say to people is keep your weapon level above 3 levels above your robot level. Once that weapon reaches MK2, you don't need to focus the weapon anymore. What you can do is focus the robot all the way up to max. And you can do that for all of your robots and then finish your weapons. That's how I would focus my upgrades because MK2 level 1 weapons are champ viable. MK2 level 1 robots are not. So just keep that in mind when you're spending. Solo play versus joining an active clan. So for an act like a maxed out clan with all of its stuff going is gonna be a ton of resources. I'm not gonna name them all off the top of my head because I don't know all of them. I'm not really into that. All I know is that you can get quite a bit of memoriam. You can get a couple microchips a day. You can get a lot of stuff, power cells. Then there's the 40% mothership charge. That is amazing. Then there's um, the pilot speed, level speed. That one's okay. That's amazing if you're free to play, so you don't have to play as much to level up your pilot. Then there's the last one. The last one is the workshop speed. That one is also amazing as a free to play because you can get your weapons a lot quicker in workshop, weapons and robots. Those are the benefits of playing as a clan. And also, normally, if you're in a clan, you're in their Discord. For a lot of active clans, they squad together. And when you squad together, you normally are getting quick wins, and most leaderboards you can get 15 points per win, and you can normally get the first milestone with those wins. And that's normally defense boosters, power cells, stuff like that.
So defense boosters will help you in matches. Power cells will help you in matches. It's all of this stuff that helps, like, indirect help. Like, you wouldn't think it's because you're in a clan, but it is. It's all of these indirect things that are just amazing to be in a clan for. And as a solo player, you can do it. It's just gonna take you a lot longer to free to play your stuff. All right. The next part is recycling low-level robots, weapons, and pilots during opportune moments, like leaderboards and events. So, Pilot Rush, what you can do is equip a couple level 1 pilots on your robots, play a couple matches until they're level 10, the pilots are, switch them out for some more level 1 pilots, and sell those level 10 pilots. And that's how I would do the pilots. And I did explain at the beginning of the video how to do your weapons and robots. So for best sniper, if they ever bring that back, or the fight to the death for the upgrade ones, those are also how you do those. Um, but yeah, that's how I would sell my stuff. That's how I do sell my stuff, actually. If you guys have any more questions, let me know on my Discord. I love doing these Q&A videos. It's just I don't have a lot of time on my hands to record them. So go ahead and join my Discord. I think I'm going to leave the link in the description of this video just so you guys can join. And if you have any questions, you can ask me there. I'm normally there in the voice chat or just typing in general. And I am very active on it. So yeah, I do recommend you guys join the Discord. There's a lot of giveaways there happening too. Um, and also don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. You can comment whatever you want, but if you like and subscribe, it helps me out a ton. The likes will get my views going a lot better to help me, like, with the YouTube monetization. It'll help me start making a passive income to make these videos a lot easier to do. And yeah, thanks for watching the video. I'll take them out. Just stay back there. Oh my god. Is the dude standing unstable? He might be standing unstable. And he's healing like 50% of his HP for unstable.
I killed the Taskmaster. What was that, Mauler? What'd you just try doing? Huh? What'd you try doing, bud? Here you go, Panda.
Assist.
We lost? Alright. I'm reporting this Deathlock guy.